Hey, I'm Elden Scott, and I'm here with the Pensacola Elite Network. We meet every Wednesday at O'Charlie's from 11:30 to 1. And today I'm doing an education segment on Facebook marketing and what I believe is the actual strategy that you can use to be successful in marketing yourself or your business online. So for a long time, I've been doing social media, helping other businesses manage pages. And so as I'm helping other businesses and doing different things, I've been trying to really figure out what it is that we've been able to do with the pages that we've helped, or the businesses that we've helped, to be the most successful. And so just not too long, just a few weeks ago, I was laying in bed and the acronym REAL popped into my head. So the acronym for REAL is R-E-A-L, and I have two for R and two for E. And I'll just briefly go over real quick. So the R stands for real and reputation. So when you have a real reputation and you have a personality or a persona, so something we've talked about here in here before is about having the logo is the knowledge. So a business has a logo to be known or something to be recognized by. So when you have, in their cliche marketing terms, but when you have your specific brand messaging, it's who you are as a brand. And so we use these terms and they kind of have vague meanings, but it's really about people having instant recognition of knowing who you are and what you stand for. The E stands for empathy and engagement. So empathetic people who engage with other people, they feel their pain or they feel their happiness, and they're able to basically create a relationship very easily. So you have to have empathy towards the people that you're marketing to, so you understand who they are, their joys and their sorrows. So when you understand those things, that helps you to really speak to them and to target your messaging to speak to them more clearly. So the other E is engagement. And I see a lot of times people, obviously doing Facebook ads and doing Facebook marketing, I'm observant of other people doing Facebook marketing and when they're spending money. And probably one of the things that kind of drives me nuts when I see it is when people spend money on Facebook ads and their audience asks them questions. So let's say there's a pizza place who's running a Facebook ad for a special, and you'll see in the comment section, you'll see 10 or 15 comments of, can you deliver this, or can you, and the brand doesn't respond. So they're just basically missing the complete opportunity to engage and have a two-way conversation with their customer. And that's one of the great things about social media, is that it really makes it super simple, and it's just almost just a part of our culture now. We'll look on somebody's Facebook before we pick up the phone and call. We'll send them a text before we call them. It's very common. It's almost ingrained in our culture, and it's amazing how fast that became ingrained in our culture. With the rapid acceptance of technology. Ooh, that sounds fancy, right? So empathy and engagement. The A part of it is being perceived as an authority. So what are you doing that causes people to see you as an authority? Well, one of those things is actually the engagement to answer people's questions. So if somebody asks you a question through a social channel, you answer. And if they believe the answer is a suitable answer, then in your mind, or in their mind, you become the authority for that subject. And so you're basically perceived as the authority, and it may be something as simple as, I know where the Circle K is. Where's the closest Circle K? Oh, there's one right here on Burgess Road. You can take a left there. So I know the directions, which is funny because I actually been asked to stop and ask directions twice in the last 2 days. It's kind of weird. But I've spent a lot of time, in pest control and lawn care industry, driving around Pensacola, and know a lot of the streets. So if somebody asks, and I've lived here my whole life, so if somebody asks where something is, and I say, oh yeah, I know where it is. You go 2 stoplights up, take a left, and so they know, okay, well, he knows how to get there. It's almost and it's subconscious. You don't even realize that they're taking you on your word as an authority. Like, if I were to say, oh, well, I don't know, I really have to think about it. So what is that doing? It's automatically putting a question in their mind if you really knows where this place is. And if you don't know where the place is, maybe you shouldn't answer the question, right? That's how it goes. Oh, maybe you should go to the Circle K. They can probably, or go to the Tom Thumb. They'll tell you where the Circle K is. Probably not. Probably not. Probably not going to tell you where the Circle K is. The L stands for leverage. And so one of the great things about social media and the ability to reach people through that medium is the leverage that it gets you. And I don't know, hopefully everybody's heard of the rule of the 6 degrees of separation. So the rule of 6 degrees of separation is that you can get to anybody through 6 people in the world. And I really think it's shrunk down a whole lot more with social media. It's probably like 1.5 degrees. Just this last weekend we were at Disney, and there were, I don't even remember what their names were. There were two people that play characters on Disney shows. Well, my 11-year-old daughter was like, oh my God, fangirling completely, like, I can't believe it, it's so-and-so, and so she was like completely just, in awe that they were literally like 10 feet away, and they're shooting a commercial, and it had like the whole production thing going on, and cameras and lights and makeup and the whole shebang. And so she was just like completely, in shock and just couldn't believe it. So what we did is we actually took a picture of her in front of them, and we tagged those 2 stars on the Facebook post. So whether they saw it or not, we had access to get in front of them and to get their attention. If we said, hey, I'm trying to remember one of their names, I can't remember now. But, if we said, hey, we're going to give you $1 million, would you get their attention more than if you just tagged them on, a Facebook post, like, oh, hey, we took a picture from. Yeah, so you have the opportunity to leverage the platform to get in front of your ideal audience. And then there's also borrowed leverage. So I'm pretty sure, maybe not, I'm pretty sure most of us are friends on Facebook in here. So when you do promotions through social media, you can leverage the existing relationships you already have and get in front of other people who may be also your ideal customer. So if you have a relationship with one person, the way Facebook ads are set up is that you can show those ads to people who have similar interests. And most likely, if that person's a good prospect for your business, the other person or their friends will also be good prospects for your business. And a lot of times Facebook will even show that Joel and Bear likes, VIP magazine, so it might be something you might be interested in. So it leverages the existing relationships you already have. So that's the real strategy in a nutshell. The whole, everything works together synergistically. So I was having a conversation earlier this morning with somebody who owns a restaurant, and I said, you can do everything else right, but if your store says you open at 11 o'clock and your doors don't open till 1, it's going to affect your business. So there's no one piece of any of the social media world that is the most important. But I think it's the real strategy, the REAL, the acronym. I don't know if it goes REAL. I don't know if that's the, since there's 2 R's and 2 E's, REAL. I'm sure that looks great on camera. But, so it's being real. If you're gonna be yourself. I know Mike was so upset. I'm just gonna tell a story. He was to the point of almost crying and like trying to burn down Facebook.
Oh yes.
So he spent many years branding himself as Mike the dog trainer, and he did a good job of it. So people still know Mike as Mike the dog trainer. I mean, he's got like a freaking tattoo says dog train. I mean, he did a good job of branding himself as Mike the dog trainer. And so, does anybody know his last name?
Dog trainer.
So, one person knows his last name. Like, I even have to question, like, who's that? Oh. Oh yeah, that's my friend. Oh, sorry. So Facebook made a change probably about 2 years ago. 3 years. See, like her, like it's a divorce or something.
They got the name.
Divorced his name. Yeah, he took his last name. That's great. That's not great. I'm sorry.
It was devastating.
I'm sorry. It was devastating. He was really upset about it. But he did a good job of branding himself as Mike the dog trainer. And I told him from the get-go, hey, look, you're doing it on a personal page, and it's not per rules. And eventually they could take it away, and sure enough, they did.
Fictitious.
Yeah. So with I told him he needs to legally change his last name to the dog trainer. But it said his kids would be, woefully, affected if his last name was the dog trainer. Their last names were the dog trainer. Samara the dog trainer. So, being the dog trainer sounds kind of good. Following Daddy's footsteps. But, he did a good job of branding his name with that.
Just me. Who I am, what I do.
Yeah, who you are and what you do with the name. Well, when Facebook changed the rules and said you can't do that anymore, you have to stick your real last name on it. And they didn't even ask them; they just did it.
Yeah, I got blocked for 3 days until I changed it.
Yeah. So that's part of the other thing with Facebook. It's not your platform.
They did give an option. I could have turned it into a fan page.
Yeah. Which I would have done, but I know the advantages of having a fan page versus a profile page. So there are distinct differences in what you can do with a personal profile page and a business page. One of those is actually having insights on who engages with you and being able to run ads and promotional things. And some people feel that if you're good at Facebook, that you don't ever have to pay anything. And I honestly, I just don't have that feeling. I don't believe that same way. It's funny, and I just as I'm thinking about this talk and trying how to present the message, it's funny how we will clear our schedule, we'll drive across town for an hour-long meeting, we'll spend $5 on a cup of coffee, we'll spend another 30 minutes getting back. So we block out, 3 hours of our time to go have a meeting with one person. A lot of times in, business setting, networking events, different things. So we spend, 2 hours of our time, depending on what your time's worth. If it's $20 an hour, that's $40 if you block out 2 hours. Plus another $5 for a cup of coffee. So when people ask me, like, is it worth spending money on Facebook? I just don't know. I'm hesitant to spend money on Facebook because I don't know if I'm going to, get a return. And so my answer is that you would go through those links to have a conversation with one person. And what is that one conversation worth? You don't know. What is one conversation worth through somebody on Facebook? Well, if you don't answer their question, I can guarantee you it's not going to be an ROI of 0. You're going to get 0 return on investment. So measuring ROI is kind of I'm not picking on Beth, but measuring ROI is tough in the marketing world. So there's some things that you can measure ROI directly, and there's some things you can't measure ROI directly. So some things you can, some things you can't. So if you have very specific campaigns that you're running a certain way, they can be measured. And there's, because of technology and way tools, call tracking numbers and website and Google Analytics, there's different things that you can do to help track those things. But to measure ROI of making sure you open your doors at 11 a.m. and not at 1 p.m. and you miss your lunch crowd, and they're like, well, I came here for lunch and no lunch. So to measure the ROI even of regular campaigns without taking into consideration all the branding efforts that you've put behind that is a very wishy-washy way of measuring it. So, a lot of times in marketing it's just ROI, so you have to look at ROI more of a long-term type scenario, so so one thing is, so what's the difference between ROI and ROI? Do you know? Because you can use an acronym for different ones, and I've heard different ones used. So you get a return of your investment, or you get a return on your investment. It's just literally one letter difference. It's of or on. It's an F or an N. It's just one letter difference. So if you get a return of your investment, that means you actually get your money back. So you put $1,000 in and you got $1,000 back. Okay, so that's break even. Not considering business costs and all those different things. If you get a R on I, your return on the investment, that means you got at least your money back and more money. So I've heard, so I mean, in the marketing world, that's one thing that's kind of, not really concise. I mean, something I like to say is that numbers don't lie, but people who use numbers can lie. So you can make the numbers look like a lot of different things, and even with social media, it's with a local business in a local market, who cares if you have 1 million followers if they're not here in Pensacola and not spending money with you, or if they're not in your town and they're actually spending money with you. And different businesses, I mean, some businesses can ship products or deliver products online, so it's different for every business. But if you're a local business and the vast majority of your customers are local, that's where you want your fan base. You don't want them in, Chicago or Illinois or wherever. You want them here locally, and you want them to be loyal supporters of your brand. And so, is it worth the investment to build that loyal following where other people can see it? Where other people can see that you have a loyal following as social proof. So the social proof of, I have this many people who have recommended me. I, give this much value and content on a regular basis. And you don't even have to create the content yourself, but it does need to be unique and original. So that's part of the being real. Part of the being real is, even if I say, let's see here. Flo, pick on Flo. Flo says, she posts on her Facebook page, these are great breathing exercises to help reduce your stress in your office, right? And so if I just share it and it says what she says, does it help build my brand or my credibility with anybody else? Possibly, but not very likely. But if I say, hey, I know Flo, and I tried these exercises and it helped me to have a better afternoon when I was feeling stressed out, check these out. Hopefully it'll help you have a better day yourself. That's actually engaging somebody to think and say, that may be something of interest that I could look at. So there's a post for you. to look at that and say, oh, well, this helped Elden. So not only does it help Flo, it helps me too, because they're automatically taking that in and saying, okay, Elden has used this and it's helped him, but then also what is it that helped him? So, and that can apply to a scope of different things, memes, all kinds of stuff, just being funny, stupid videos. You got to be real, you have to be real and engage those people. If somebody laughs at something or says, it's stupid or whatever, I find that, and I think part of what a lot of people worry about, or a little bit, is that they're worried about negative feedback, so that may stop them from doing more on social media. So they parse in what they would say because they're worried about negative feedback. But I find the vast majority of people typically want to be positive, and found very, very few people who are directly negative and antagonistic. So there are not very many people that do that. And when they are intentionally that way, it's a glaring, stop the trains, something's not adding up here. Normally, something is very unusual about the situation when you find something like that. So being real, having good reputation, it makes an amazing difference. Eddie, who does SEO online marketing stuff, he says it takes 10 good reviews to overcome 1 bad review. And I actually checked them on the map. I was like, pull out the calculator, and sure enough, they say between 4.2 and 4.7 is a believable star rating. It's realistic. So if you have 100 reviews and it's a 5-star rating, and there's not one single 4-star out of all of those, it brings questions in somebody's mind, like, Are they really perfect every day? Because it's just not reasonable. But between 4.2, depending on the industry, 4.2 and 4.7 is a realistic good rating. And they say it's even at least 10 reviews for people to even really look at that. And there's hard data. I mean, there's giant data companies that have, aggregated all of that information that says, if I go to Mike and say, you need to go use this paint company, they're great, that's trusted like 92%. If he goes online and he does a Google search for Pensacola paint companies, it's like 77% that's trusted. So there's a lot of inbuilt trust because the authenticity of online reviews. So the vast majority of people, I do believe, want to keep it in a positive mindset because they don't want to be perceived as negative themselves. So if there's a legitimate complaint, it should be handled. You should talk to them, do what you can to make it right, and do it publicly. Comment and say, hey, if you did screw up, you can say, hey, we messed up, and what can we do to make it right? But I think those are few and far between. So authority, answering people's questions, and planting your flag. I guess I skipped empathy and engagement, but we kind of talked about that a little bit. But the authority part is, if you say that you're, if I say I'm a surgeon, right? I say I'm a surgeon, and just going something off the wall, and I never talk anything about surgery. I never post anything. I never have any information to share. I don't have any proof. I don't have any proof that that's actually who I am. I don't have a medical degree. The belief that, hey, this guy's a surgeon and can help me with my problem is not going to be there. So there's some things that have inherent trust and authority built into them. So if we go to a doctor and they have a certificate on the wall that says they're a doctor from Yale University and they're board certified, there's an inherent trust already built in. So there's a level of automatic trust that comes with that. They have the school and they've passed the test. And then you move into a relationship, and then either you're happy with them or you're not, and then you may or may not go on to another doctor. But from the get-go, there's an amount of trust built in because of that certification and in that degree. So there's different industries that don't have that built-in trust, and you have to work to build the trust. And so one of the great ways that you can build that trust through social media is to actually have those relationships and the reputation that builds that authority that, hey, I do this, and I have helped people doing this, and I can help you too. So that's borrowed authority when somebody says, that's the person you need to go talk to. And it's very easy to do it through social media. I mean, how many times? We do it 100 times a day, maybe not, maybe 100 times a month, depending on how active you are on social media, to say, this is the person you need to go talk to, or that's the person. Just somebody today was looking for donation to nonprofits for Ice Flyer tickets. And so, I tagged Brittany in it. And so she got tagged and she sent her the link, done. It just happens that fast without even, and you never know what opportunity is going to arise to be able to, pass that referral and do that thing. And then leverage, you're talking just like we're just talking about with that, it's the speed and the ability to get in front of people who you'd never be able to get in front of. And so the real strategy is all of those things combined, and when you do all of those things synergistically, and obviously when you're spending money, you start small, you figure out what works. You're not, spending $10,000 on something you don't know that works. It's just not smart, so you spend a little bit of money. There's never been anything that's easier to spend a microscopic amount of money. I mean, literally you can set up ads to run for $1 a day, and it works because I've done it. I've done little piddly campaigns just for $1 a day, just to let them run, and they trickle, and the little things come in, and little things happen, and all of those things build on one another. And they just cumulatively build up. So there's that part of it, and then there's also the direct get somebody in front of an offer. There's there's the hard sell and there's the build relationship sell. And it's not really a hard sell online. It's just I'm presenting you an offer. And so here's the deal. Here's the offer that you would be able to take if you're interested in it. And so I'm offering it, and it's there, and then you're hopefully putting it in front of the ideal people that you want to get it in front of. So that's the real social strategy. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about the real social strategy and see some slides and part of a presentation that's going to help you to develop your own real winning social strategy, I'm doing a class on January 28th from 11 to 12, and so it feels just like this page. It'll be posted on this page later this week, exactly where that class is going to be, and so we'll have all that information on the Pensacola Elite Network page. And so thanks for watching the video, and we're done.